This is an 8-iron, and it's a dead shank. Wow. Way right.
Oh,
Takes a hop
shank.
off the pad.
You got to be kidding me. Very tough pitch shot right here. You got to hit it into the hill. One hop up and bite, and it's in.
Kind of like that.
Well, I would like to welcome a true legend of the game, former Korn Ferry Tour Player of the Year, former PGA Tour player, the West Texas Driving Range Pro, the great JJ Killeen. Pro, thanks for coming on the podcast. Good as always to catch up with you.
Absolutely. Again, legendary introduction there. I'm here for that, all of that.
Absolutely. Well-deserved. Before we get into you buying the golf course and the switch of locations and all that stuff, my first question is, can we keep calling you the West Texas Driving Range Pro now that you're slightly just west of Fort Worth, or are we going to go with a new name online?
No, I don't think so. I mean, West Texas in my heart for sure, but I mean, the West Texas it's more of a mindset than an actual geographical location. Like, pretty much if you're west of Dallas, you're West Texas. That's the rule of thumb. We were just in Lubbock. Lubbock is West Texas for sure, but El Paso, some people say, is West Texas. I don't know. I consider Lubbock West Texas, but you know what? West of Dallas, Fort Worth is West Texas. I don't care. I make the rules. Those are the rules. West Texas Driving Range Pro. We're going to keep it there.
Okay, we're staying with that. And
there we go. Yep.
Okay, so the rumors that people are asking me, is he going to change it? Is it going to be called the Dallas-Fort Worth Driving Range Pro?
Oh, shit.
No.
I don't put Dallas. I can't put Dallas on my name ever. I went to school at TCU, lived in Fort Worth for a long, long time. Dallas people and Fort Worth people are not friends. They do not get along. I will not. No, 1,000% no. West Texas Driving Range Pro it is.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we have quelled that internet rumor. And, kind of like the pioneering spirit, buying the golf course, doing shit your way. Like, I agree with you. You do have a little bit of the West Texas, going out to stake your fortune, kind of risk-taking sort of vibe. So I think that's much better than the cosmopolitan, in a Tom Ford suit, JJ Killeen. I like the West Texas vibe a little bit more.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. I mean, it's great. Like, I love, obviously, I grew up in Southern California, and I moved to Lubbock, Texas when I was like a junior in high school. Then went to school at TCU Fort Worth, so lived in Fort Worth for a long time. Played obviously a lot of golf professionally there, and a little bit in Lubbock. Started a couple businesses there. So I'm a Texas guy at heart for sure. But West Texas, it's good vibes, good people, the whole deal. It definitely fits my mindset.
Well, I'm glad that no changes is coming, plus it just makes it a hell of a lot easier. So, all right, so we're going to keep that the same. We will get to the golf course and all that fun stuff, but some interesting shit in the world of golf. You got to put your broadcast helmet on for this one. You always have opinions. Keegan Bradley, interesting Ryder Cup captain, young, not seems to be in the frat boy club with that. Give me your take on this. How do you see it? How do you think it happened? And how do you like the pick?
I mean, I think it's a great pick. I think what the Full Swing on Netflix or whatever, obviously, I don't know if people watch that or not, but he wanted to be on the Ryder Cup. Like, he was part of the team, and everybody has all these strategies for Ryder Cups, but pretty much if you're at home, you win. If you're on the road, you lose, except for, like, Medina. That was the only one in, 2 decades that was where the home team didn't win. And I think he was part of that. He loves the USA. He didn't even unpack his clothes or whatever from like 10 or 12 years ago from that Ryder Cup. So the guy loves it. I mean, I'm good with it, man. I don't think the captain matters a ton. Honestly, I know that sounds crazy, but it's all about the setup of the course. I think it always favors the home team for whoever it is. I think that's also a way of kind of the Ryder Cup selection process saying that, hey, we screwed up bad by not picking you the last time. So not only are we going to make sure you're involved, we're going to make sure you're like the captain of the whole deal. I mean, I don't know how there's any other way to see it except for that. And then I heard like rumors floating around like MJ might be the assistant captain. Like, I love that shit. That's awesome. I mean, that's an idol. If MJ is not your idol as like an American athlete, I mean, what are you even doing here? And you're a Chicago guy, so obviously you know that. But really, MJ is like he's the whole mindset of just a dominant, clutch personality. Someone that you'd want to have kind of captain a team, and it doesn't matter that he's not an expert at golf. I think that would be a really cool deal if they actually did that.
So I'm going to unpack a couple things, and I agree with you, and I'm not just saying this because you're on, but I agree on the captain's pick. Here's my thought, and let me know what you think. And I love the MJ pick as well. And yes, like if you played sports growing up, like MJ's your icon. I don't care if you're my age and 50 or you're 27 or 19, right? You're right. It's just like a mindset. It's like MJ. It's weird. Like I've been fortunate enough to play the Grove a couple times. He's down there, and it's like I don't get very fan struck. And I was like, oh God, that's Michael Jordan, right? Like it's still Michael Jordan. Like you revert back to your like 12 years old watching the Bulls, right? When they're in the 80s and the 90s run. It's like it's still like no, that's like a god standing there, right? Like that's Michael Jordan, right? So I don't think they need to all be golf guys. But back to my point, don't you think if you didn't care about the politics of it, you and Petey could sit down with a mathematician from MIT. Now, you and Petey might not understand the mathematician from MIT, but let's say he gave you information that you could have broken down that you two could actually grasp. Don't you think you guys could do this? Like, I'm sorry, you're playing with you. The math tells me so. Congratulations, you're a professional athlete. Go out and perform. I'll be having a beer watching it on television. I don't understand what the captain does. Like, you played the tour. Like, do I really need to motivate you? Like, that's the part I don't understand. Yeah. Like somehow you, at the level you played at, JJ, aren't somehow motivated to be the best you can be. And by the way, I'm going to put you in front of like 300 million people watching it. So, yeah, can you perform for me? I hope so. Like, what can I say to you that's going to make any difference? That's a part I don't understand about this captain's thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a motivational component. I mean, what I've learned is like every job that someone's good at is harder than it looks. Like they make it look easy because they're really good at it, type of deal. And there's all these stats and data and like whatever, all this other shit that you can put people together. And there's a lot of pressure if you lose. It's like you're a failure if you lose. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a pretty good amount of golf knowledge, you can figure out your pairings, right? This person's playing bad. We're going to sit their ass. This person's stats, we have so many analytics now for stats. I mean, maybe like 10, 15, 20 years ago where someone would have to collect their own stats to maybe pair people together, because we would just watch on TV and like, oh, I don't want to put a bomber with a guy that hits it straight in the alternate shot. They have different games, but analytics might say the exact opposite. It might say the bomber actually hits a ton of fairways because he, like Bubba was always one of the way up there in greens and reg, and people don't realize that. Well, they actually like drove it in play, and he had wedges in all over the place. So he was actually a great ball striker, even though you think he was a bomber. So we have all this data now that like kind of backs that up. But then there's a synergy between people. I mean, like if you and I were from the same town or same area, and we grew up together playing or we're buddies or whatever, that's different, right? We can kind of fire each other up or kind of know when to, yell at the other guy if he's playing like shit or what to say to him, to keep encouraging him, that type of deal. There's that component that I think the captains can help with. But, again, I think a lot of people can figure that part out as well. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that have to do it, and there's a lot of pressure there. So I like it. I like that he's the captain. And he can still make the team. So that's what's weird. He's young enough. Usually they pick somebody old that there's no way they can make the team, right? Like, this guy's old. He can't make the team. He's the captain. Like, that was a little bit of a weird pick because we still got another year left. And what if he wins a couple events or plays well in the majors? Then what happens? Well,
this is what I was going to ask you, too. In your late 30s, would you given up, let's say like you weren't injured, and I know that's kind of how your career, got sidelined, right? I mean, shoulder problems, all the other stuff that happened. Let's say you weren't injured in your late 30s and still playing well on tour. Would you give up that year and a half of focus that you're still relatively, like, Keegan's not past his prime, to go captain this thing? Would you take it on, or would you tell the guys, hey, look, man, I'm playing too good. I got a window for 5 years. Hit me up when I'm 45. Or would you say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I've got a major. I've won enough money. I don't care about my game at this point because it will take away. It will be a distraction. I'm going to go play. How would you view that?
Yeah, the second part. I mean, I think if someone recognizes you as a captain, it's kind of like it's affirming that you've made it as a professional golfer, and you probably made enough money at that point, so it's not a money chase. And there's probably some sponsorship and monetary components to being the captain. So I think that's the part where, you know, it's like, hey, I've made it, I'm going to do this. But at the same time, if you start, because, you know, the captains still play golf. It's not like they just take but like for the general public, it's not like they just take off time and captain for 2 years. Like, they're playing pretty much a full schedule. Most guys are. Zach Johnson, maybe they're 1 or 2 events off a year. They'll take extra that they normally wouldn't, but, you know, they're playing 20-plus events a year. So if Keegan's playing well, that's the difference. Like, he's in a way better point of his career where he can legitimately make it on his own merit. I think the ultimate, like, eat shit for not picking me move would be he's playing pretty well and pick himself. Like, how good would that be?
I would love it, just to throw a little, some excitement into it. Like,
yeah.
I would have no problem with it. And the other interesting part, I think Zach Johnson, I don't know this, but just from looking, at the post-mortem thing of the last Ryder Cup, do you think it's hard for these guys if they're not playing good, but they've got a good track record and they're begging, put me out there to play? How hard of a job do you think that is to tell a Jordan Spieth, a legit 10-year top 20 player in the world, sorry, dude, I'm sitting you, and I'm putting in Brian Harman. Nothing against Brian Harman, but like, how hard of a job do you think that is to tell people no? Because you guys all want to go. You all, when you were playing professionally, JJ, you thought you could beat anybody in the world. Like, you're not going to want to not play. How do you manage that expectation, especially being like, Keegan's age, where these guys are still his contemporaries? Do you think that will be a problem, or do you think he's a hard ass enough that it's just going to be like, look, dude, we're not doing it this way anymore. You're sitting.
And
like, I'm making the play.
I think you got to honor the captain's decision there. I mean, and no matter what, even if a guy's not playing well, they're still going to probably play them at least one of the events of the first 4. So I think everybody just kind of honors the decisions there, and they understand if someone like the Rorys of the world, or the Schefflers or somebody, they just understand that they might play every match. But if you're not number 1 in the world, you've got to kind of realize that you're probably going to be sitting one of the first 4. And maybe it's for rest reasons, maybe it's whatever, but I think people just kind of realize that's going to happen during that.
Here's my other crazy idea: 2 different Ryder Cup teams, essentially, because when we go over there, what the golf course is going to be set up for, like Francesco Molinari in his prime. So what about if you just literally said, we're getting our ass kicked every time? Give me the top 6 guys who make it, and give me 6 Denny McCarthys. Give me 6 in his prime Brian Gays. Give me 6 Brian Harmons. Dudes that hit it like 295 off the tee, straight as shit, putt it good, chip it good. Fine, if they got to play this type of golf, where it's all pinched in because we have a length advantage, generically speaking, I am going to get 6 horses for courses that just do their thing. And generically, when we're on our side, I'm probably not going to have them on a team. Is that a crazy idea, or do you think that there's some validity to it?
I mean, statistically, there probably is. Statistically, there is. I'm always under the impression that winners win, and they can figure it out and adapt to circumstances and kind of what's going on. It'd be hard for me if the course was the most narrow course on the planet, and, the straightest driver on tour was 25 in the world, and it was between him and Scheffler or somebody, I'm picking Scheffler. I just think they can probably figure it out over time. But there's merit for horses for courses, for sure, without a doubt there is. I play plenty of courses where I just don't feel comfortable off the tee. I just don't really like them, and it's just it's a negative, kind of a negative mindset there. But I don't know, man. It's just there's a lot of Ryder Cup talk, and you go back and look at the history of it the last couple decades, or maybe even 3 decades, and pretty much the home team wins.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. and there's really not a lot that goes into it other than they set the course up for home team analytics, and there's a certain amount of people that make the team regardless, and maybe it doesn't favor our play, and vice versa. There's players that qualify for the team automatically on the European side, and the courses we pick don't necessarily fit well for their game. So it's just that shit. I don't know if there's any way to change that, honestly.
No question, right? Like when the Hazel, look at the setup on the golf course at Hazeltine. I remember our team and looking at the European team, whatever year that was, and thinking the Europeans got no chance. They got no chance, right? The American team's going to bomb it past them by 30 yards. They're going to make a zillion birdies. Forget it. Like, and it was like that match was over. Like it was, they killed them. So I'm trying to think of different ways we can be more competitive when we go over there, because these course setups, I think, are definitely dictating, like you said, it's probably a 90% chance that the home team's going to keep winning.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and so like if you've been over to, I know you've been over to Europe, obviously. I mean, because we're buddies, but I've seen it on your social media too. And what they do, they play 36 every day in the summer a lot of times, and they'll play like a best ball match in the morning, and then they'll play an alternate shot match in the afternoon because it moves faster, and like they're used to playing that shit. Even guys that shoot 90 yard, and that's
Correct.
just like the mindset. They're used to knowing that game, kind of knowing. And I know professional golf and that's different, but it's a way more a style they're comfortable in playing as well.
Yes, and sometimes just like at normal clubs, that's like that. There's a morning match, and this is how they do it in the afternoon match after lunch.
Yep.
And you just
because you play
how it is
fast.
in Europe.
Yeah, it's faster. Yeah, it's faster, and it's basically two people playing, really, because it's alternate shot, and they're just used to playing that. Like we would never do that here. Like it seems crazy, serial killer stuff, but that's how they do it.
Yeah, there might be something to that team aspect of it. Well, I like the pick. I like that they didn't go with the next in line that you would traditionally think. I'm fine with the PGA of America kind of switching this up, so it'll be interesting.
And he wants to win. There's no doubt. He wants to win the thing. I promise. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, there's a little bit of redemption on the last one if he wins, right? And the team plays well, and it's well managed, and it all works out. He's going to look like a hero, right? And he is a competitive dude. I think he's going to be great. We will find out. Well, you have done it. You've become a proprietor. You're running a business. Dear God, you own a golf course. Sugar Tree. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. But how did this come about? I know you helped build, Red Feather in Lubbock, which is a phenomenal operation, and Brad's a great guy, and I'm sure you've taken some knowledge base from that. And how did this all come about, and how did this opportunity come in front of you where you thought, okay, I'm willing to move the family, I'm willing to do this, I can see the potential, I want to start owning, get in this line of work, and I'm guessing this will not be the last golf course you own if this works out well, and I'm assuming it will.
Red Feather was obviously a great opportunity. Brad's one of my good friends. It was a fun project. I mean, I've met a lot of friends through that process, building a golf course from scratch out of a cotton field, moving 2 million cubes of dirt to make something great that King Collins designed. Brad, taking a guy like Brad that has the, absolute nutsack to take on a project like that. I respect the hell out of it. So me and him are good friends, and I love that place. It's fun as shit, man. Everything that he wants it to be successful, wants it to represent, I think it's there. The vibe, the community, the culture, really, really fun spot. Where I am, so now I'm at Sugar Tree Golf Club, just west of Fort Worth. And I had the opportunity, one of my buddies, KP, a great guy. We've been friends for well over 20 years. I've always wanted to, own and operate my own golf course. And this opportunity came about. He was looking to, get into the golf space. He had a successful career doing multiple things. He's a lifelong golfer, member at multiple clubs, just love the golf culture. And, me and him have been buddies, so it's just been it was a great fit for me and my family to kind of transition to the next step. So, I learned a lot of things at Red Feather, not only from Brad, but just from, Garrett and his agronomy staff there. What it takes to build a golf course, the hectic things that you have to deal with to make sure everything works correctly has been something that has helped me really since we took over and bought this operation here. And I love it here, man. It's so cool. It's you're only 40 miles from Fort Worth, but it seems like you're in the country. There's hundreds of deer on the course every night. We have fishing. We're going to do a little rebrand of the logo here ASAP, so people can support us buying online what we're doing. I'm trying to build the same culture that kind of I built through all of our social media that I started at Red Feather, just like letting people know what we do every day, how we do it, and it kind of gets them to appreciate the process, to kind of understand what it goes into not only keeping a golf course in shape, but, you know, the kind of the people behind the scenes that make it work. So it's been really, really good. We've got a 8-bed, 4-bath kind of casitas, a lodge that can be broken into 2 different buildings. So we have stay and plays for people in the DFW community. And it's just been really, really popular since they took over. I think our first month, it was 30% higher than any revenues they've ever had in any month. So, I don't know, man. I love running bars. I love communicating with people. This is a semi-private, so probably 70% of our play currently is public. So public's welcome to play. We spent a lot of money on rollers, new mowers, sanding. My buddy KP, he's kind of the life source of this place. My partner in the deal is just a really knowledgeable guy with agronomy and some other things, has great relationships. So we've been able to make an immediate impact, and got a par 3 course too that's badass. So I'm trying to get a bar out there and some lights. It's fun, man. It's fun as shit. I'd love to have you guys down here actually doing a little fitting maybe or whatever. Bring some VIP clients from DFW because we got the par 3 course. We have all that. It's a good spot.
Was it a project that you knew needed some rebranding, needed some work? And is that where the opportunity was? Like you could see the potential if done right and brought back to life? Or was it doing pretty darn well and it's just a little bit of a tweak? Or is this a pretty good remake or redo or rebranding?
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, a rebrand. I mean, I think that the previous owners did, I mean, I think they worked hard and did great, and I think the course was in good shape, and every time someone played it, they had great things to say about it. And, you know, my strength really, since I have like ADD up the ass, bouncing around from different things, is more like the promotional marketing and growing everything component. So it's the forward facing, like, once I get bogged down in the trenches of back of house things, which I know how to do, but you know, that's where I'm not as sharp, and I have great people here, people that I've hired to deal with all the behind scenes stuff, so I can just market and grow revenues. If I can grow revenues, that's like my biggest strength to all those things, and then I let everybody else deal with the aftermath. Yeah. If I'm buying margarita machines, don't worry. I'll get it there. Just don't worry about how much it costs right now, but that's what that's costing. So
I love that idea. And how obviously you're thinking of machine number 2, and I love a transfusion on the golf course. How is the frozen transfusion working? How are they selling?
Yeah, so it's a little TBD on it. So we've got, the machines are expensive. So now that, you know, obviously, you know, me and my partner, every dollar, I'm spending money here, and we are to try to make everything great. In margarita machines, I don't know if you ever bought one or know about them, but they're expensive as shit, man. They're not like a blender that you buy from, you know, Walmart or whatever. These margarita machines, the consistency, like to keep them frozen, just you know, if you just make a margarita out of a blender and it's a hot day, in a minute, it's like soup outside. Right. So you got to get the right margarita machine mix, the sugar levels, just shit that I've never even known. But if the sugar level's off, it messes the machine. You got to have everything dialed. So I bought a demo, and the demo with 2 of the units in it, I don't even know what you call them, but you can make 2 different flavors in one unit. Dude, they're like $10,000, like brand new. Holy so I mean, shit. you gotta be ready to sling some shit and like be committed to the process. So I got a demo for about 35% of that had only been used twice. It has a ding in it. I think the guy dropped it off a truck or whatever, but it was working flawlessly. So I'm like, all right, I know I can make up for this, and it works great. And yeah, we sell the margarita game. I mean, I think everything is priced really, really reasonable here. We reset a lot of pricing for for not only bar drinks, but some other things just so people could have a good experience. We've got 300 homes or so in the neighborhood, and it's just a great demographic. A lot of people with young families that drive their golf cart up, want to have an easy dinner and a couple of drinks at night. We're making it available for them. You make it available, right? It's kind of like things that I learned at Red Feather for sure. You make things available to people, they'll support it and come, right? No one's going to buy something if it's not available for them to buy. So affordable drinks,
yeah,
affordable drinks. There's a great staff, like a lot of. I mean, we have a as I would say nails staff there. Just great culture, great community here. Just amazing people. Not only in the golf shop, outside services, but like the restaurant here is called the Eatery. Like all of that as well. So we give everybody that good community vibe. Let them know they're welcome. Get them anything they want, and make sure that if we don't have it, that we'll look into it or potentially, make it for them on the spot. If they don't, that keeps, people respect that, and I think they come back and want to support your business.
The other thing, too, it always made sense to me, and some clubs just refuse to do it, and if you did it makes sense, is you can bring your own cart as long as you pay like an annual fee to have it out there. So you can drive from your house, whatever it is, pay us $800 for the year. You don't have to rent a car. Like I would, I always like it where they like make the barrier of entry easy, make it simple to want to come down, and you'll sell $6 margaritas, which will more than pay up for the cart because people want to hang out.
That's it. I mean, most courses call them a trail fee. That's what we call it as well. And, there's pros and cons to trail fees because people it depends on access. Like if someone lives on some random hole, they can just drive their cart out and play, and you might have verified that day, or there might be a sprinkler leak or whatever, and they're just driving around the course like willy-nilly. But, you want people to have a sense of community, and you want them to know that, hey, it's a privilege to drive your own cart out here. It's our property. Like let's police ourselves. If you see somebody doing something detrimental to the course, they're going to screw it up for everyone else. So you build that culture and mindset like, hey, this is cool. We can have our own stuff out here. We can have our own golf cart with our own, music and speakers and all that shit. Like, let's make sure that we can always have that. And if someone's sneaking on or if someone's, destructive around the golf course late at night when they're not open, let's make sure that we let people know so we can continue that. And we've kind of built that already, and I like it, man. I mean, there was a kid the other day, and he's awesome. He was picking up so we have fishing too. So like whatever, if we change the name, whatever, like we'll be whatever in fishing club, golf and fishing, but we have all these tanks that are stocked like with great fish. And, people were bringing their own golf cart that weren't part of the community or the car. And they're trying to just get all the fish out of the lake, and there's beer cans everywhere, and there's trash, and there's like a 12-year-old kid just with the trash bag picking up trash and beer cans. I mean, he might have done it, his dad might have done it, but he's like, hey, I don't want to ruin, us not being able to fish or whatever here. Yeah. So it's cool, man. I think we've already built that. I think people respect it, and I think it's been great so far. I love it here. My family loves it. It's been super, super cool.
What's the price point for someone to join for a year, and then how much on average would you say like a round is 18 holes with a cart?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So it's $2,000 to join, initiation, and then it's like $360 a month. So it's way affordable, way reasonable. I mean, our whole goal is like if we have the best playing conditions for a public course, I'm not talking like a course that's $300 resort with infinity budget, but if we have the best condition course for like the $100 a round price point, and the greens are always good, we spend a ton of money on greens making sure they're good. I think people respect that and want to come out. And also we offer like you can play the par 3 course after you play the par 3 course as well. Like I might monetize that separately, but I want people to experience it. I want them to play golf and then eat lunch, have a few drinks, take 3 clubs over to the par 3 course, and then play, man.
Are you still going to have time to play some of the events you want to play in and teach, or are you basically running the operation that's going to be a little while before you think you get back into doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to play. We had one little section deal. I don't know. I shot all right, but I don't really care as much. Like that sounds bad because I love golf and I'm a competitive guy, but I'm having so much fun. I'm working like freaking insane, crazy hours, more than I ever have in my life. but I'm like doing shit all day long. So for like 10, 12 hours a day, the days go by fast. So it's kind of fun, man. Like and I'm learning things. Like I'm learning so much about irrigation and agronomy and just a lot of the behind the scenes things. Like I'm our general manager, so there's a lot of work involved there in general because everyone has to report to somebody. There's always some shit that's going sideways, even on the calmest of days. But,
and if it gets to your
it's
desk,
fine.
it's going to be an issue. That's why you're there, right? You're going to be like an air traffic controller. That's going to be your job, essentially, at the time, right?
It is. And that's what's good. Like my buddy KP, who I said is kind of the life source of this place, he handles it like almost everything outside. He's got such a good eye for agronomy and just how to make the course better. And I'm like straight operations. Maddie's with me here, and Maddie from, she was at Red Feather until several months ago. She was there until then, and she's come here and she's helped me, and she's awesome, and we work well together too. So we're just trying to build a great brand and culture and kind of just get all of the kind of community to rally and support the project, what we're trying to do here, and just make it a fun experience and place to come. So if someone comes here, they rent the lodge, they have a Monday outing for their, charity or business or whatever it's for, that they have a good experience and they want to come back, and we're like the only place that they think of consider coming. So I'm always going to try to keep the price point, right. Along the way we'll spend some money redoing things, but if we ever raise anything, it'll be because we have a better project or better, we're presenting something that's better for them to play and experience. So that's kind of where we are now, man. We just started. That's like probably a lot of action to do right away, but we've made some pretty significant changes too.
Well, and it makes sense. And I think golf is, and also too, like if you have, really good food, right? That's going to bring people in. And I know you got the experience, even from the driving range days, literally the driving range days of running that operation and then being at Red Feather. You can probably see that as well of how important it is to have really good food, reasonable price for what you get, and if it's consistent and the service is good, and if you got people around that community, that's going to bring people in the front door too, right? Then the whole thing works as a circle working together, right? And it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Provide consistency. That's hard, man. It's really hard to do, especially in a public space where I am now. But I think you're right. I mean, just letting people know. I mean, our job, they're paying money to have a good time. Some people are going to bitch no matter what, like whatever. People win the lottery and bitch they have to pay taxes. There's no way around certain things. But, man, I just think if we provided a consistent experience for people spending their income, disposable income to come and play and have a good time, then that's an easy job.
Does John Peterson, the great John Peterson, does he get an honorary membership?
Yeah, I guess so. The worst part about this whole thing for me is like we're redoing some holes, but there's a bunch of holes at Dogleg at like 270, and the course is tight. They cut down like 1,000 trees last year, maybe another 1,000 this year, and there's plenty of trees. I'm not a tree hater. Like there are trees. Don't get me wrong, but like that son of a bitch. Like this is like if he designed a golf course, it would look like this place. So that's my biggest regret for choosing this joint is he's probably going to dot me more than I will him here, but who knows?
The course record he could be shooting a smooth 8 or 9 under here out there pretty. I mean, it's in his wheelhouse, right? Hit it to there. He hits his iron so good. The putter gets hot, look out.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to give him any credit, but it's not a bad course for him. Yeah, whatever. You can have him on the hey. If you want to put on your knee pads, you can have him on the pod. I'm not going to credit.
He is. I mean, he's a legend as well. I mean, look at the swing, the elegance. I mean, that man is it's Hogan-esque, is what I like to call it.
All right, enough of this. Enough of this shit. Next topic.
Well, it's a cool project, and also I think you're doing well on the idea, and I think golf. The really successful golf stuff, even at the high end, like I always say, and you guys are doing this at Red Feather, like if I'm, at a Discovery Land property, and I mean, that's as high end as it gets, and it's still so much fun. I think people want fun and that vibe over stuffy old school country club. Yes, there's a spot for that, and there always will be, but even, say 50 years old and younger, 55 and younger, I'd rather have the vibe of a T-shirt, high tops, music, fun, and if I feel like I sneeze the wrong way, I don't feel like someone's about to get pissed at me. But I want it to be nice, but not the stuffy thing anymore, right? I think it's just, that's done, right? And I think you're going the right thing of making the par 3 course fun and get the margarita machine, and you're more than welcome to come out. And I think that's where golf needs to go, and I think it is going that way, and you're smart enough to realize, like, this is what's going to make that work, is putting smiles on people's faces. Golf can be hard enough, and make the experience where you're out there and it's enjoyable on like 7 levels. And people have enough stress in their life, and if they have to worry about, oh my God, is my collar exactly the right way? Fuck that. Like I did. Yeah. I don't want to do that
people
anymore.
Like that.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, some people want to pay for that. They want to pay for. I mean, man, just like there's weird rules at certain restaurants, or like, I don't know, freaking club, like I don't even know how you call them, but like weird clubs where you have to join and they have all these secret traditions and shit. Like, some people love all that. I don't mind it. I respect it for sure. But really, I think the golf business, the reason why it's a little tricky is you want to make golf fun and affordable for everybody, but also provide a good product. Well, a good product means a good golf course. A good golf course means it's expensive to maintain. So, you don't want to just screw somebody over just because you've got a great golf course in a great condition, because you want everybody to experience. But then also there's a certain demographic, and you'll know this too, for clubs that'll spend money on things. So, I mean, if you have $100 polos, which is basically industry standard these days for a lot of companies, someone that pays $30 to play golf probably isn't buying that, right?
Correct.
But also, if you provide an experience, there's a sweet spot. So, like, what are we trying to do? So, I think your pro shop reflects your green fees. Your vibe kind of reflects the course conditions and things like that. And I'm trying to work it where I have the par 3 course, and man, I respect people for sure that are on a fixed income or can't. So I was like, hey, we'll provide this service. And again, we're not super expensive. If somebody looks up sugartreegolf.com, we're like $70 on the weekend, $60 on weekdays. We're not that expensive, but I want to provide other experiences for someone that potentially can't play because of one reason or another, where they can still, experience our culture and what we're trying to do to make this a cool spot.
I love it, man. And Sugartree, is it sugartreegolf.com, or what's the best website?
Yeah, sugartreegolf.com. Yeah, sugartreegolf.com. I just created our Twitter, man, maybe a month ago, maybe a couple weeks, not long. Sugartree Golf on Twitter, Instagram, Sugartree Golf. So we're just kind of getting started, but it's been really, really good. We've got stay and play packages. People fly and people do whatever, but if you're in the DFW area and it's like a staycation and you only want to drive an hour from Dallas, or an hour and 15 minutes, and hang out and tie one on and play 36 and 18 the next day, we've got a great bunkhouse that has 12 queen beds in it, 4 bathrooms, and all sorts of cool stuff. It's a good hang, man. We got fishing. We got a great crew here. We got a really cool bar set up. It's a fun spot. Like, anybody that supports it so far, obviously we appreciate it, but the people that are coming out, like, the business is growing and growing, and, we're in the dog days of summer here in Texas. Like, it's 100, it's hot, and we're pretty dang busy in the morning, but we'll start slinging some deals in the afternoon for people that want to come out and play a 2-hour round in the heat and just check it out for pretty cheap. And maybe sit at the bar and hang out afterward. If anybody's in for that type of deal, we'll probably start slinging some deals to make that happen.
Well, congratulations in knowing everything you've kind of touched before and how it works. And I know the passion you have for this, and I have no problem saying this to people who listen to the podcast or part of the Sub 70 family. I personally promise you, if you go down there, you will have a blast. I haven't even seen the golf course yet, and when I do get down to Dallas, we have family down there. I will come out and check it out. But knowing the passion you have and the other projects you've been a part of, JJ, I have no problem saying you go check it out, and I promise you will leave your club with a smile on your face, because I know what you're trying to do, what you accomplished, and this is not your first rodeo. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. I'm so happy for you and your family. It's a great next step, And I'm going to be looking forward, to watching the progress. Like, I feel like I'm a part of like watching the social media stuff of what you guys are doing already, right? I can't wait to see how the course gets better. I mean, you guys are going to come up with some fun shit you haven't even thought of yet, right? So I can't wait to get down there and play it and see it, and also watch how you guys progress, in this journey on it.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate the support, and I'd love to collab and do a fitting day with you guys. When you're in town, we'll figure something out and kind of spread the sub 70 brand obviously around here. I know you guys obviously don't need my help for that, but still, I'd love to show everybody that, and maybe we'll get something dialed where they can play golf and get some people staying, fishing, having a few drinks, staying in the bunkhouse, par 3 course, playing whatever, man. We'll have a good time.
Well, I got one. We do a sub 70 golf outing up here every year, in Northern Illinois. What about a sub 70 golf outing in the Dallas Fort Worth area? I think we could fill the course down there and do 2 in 1 year, like one in the spring and one as we kind of do ours up here more in the fall, and do it, do one down south.
Hell yeah. I'm in, man. You tell me. I'm in. We're the weather in Texas, people know, kind of goes up and down, but we're pretty tame compared to Chicago in the winter for sure. So exactly. We can let's get something going, and we'll get a north and south type of situation running, and that'll be a lot of fun.
Congratulations with everything. Like I said, look forward to watching it, and thanks for your time today, JJ. I always appreciate it.
All right, Jace. Yeah, thanks, my man. See ya.